Okay, so what if I told you that the secret to losing weight wasn't about eating less, but actually eating more? I know it sounds completely backward, but in this explainer, we're going to dive into the science that shows why that might be exactly what your body has been waiting for. Does this sound familiar? You're doing everything you're supposed to do, right? You've cut your calories way back, you're hitting the gym hard, but that number on the scale, it just will not move. Or maybe even worse, it's starting to creep up. If you've been there, trust me, you are not alone. It's an incredibly common and incredibly frustrating story. And hey, this isn't just a feeling, it's a real clinical observation. This quote is from Rachel Braxton. She's a registered dietitian, and she sees this exact scenario play out with her patients all the time. It's a recognized pattern that points to something much, much deeper going on inside the body. Something that goes way beyond that simple math of calories in, calories out. So, that brings us to what we're calling the weight loss paradox. We are going to break down exactly why pushing harder and restricting more can sometimes be the very thing that's holding you back. Our first instinct, right, is to just double down. If what we're doing isn't working, we just need to try harder, eat even less, exercise even more. But what if our bodies don't actually respond to being starved? The science we're about to get into suggests a pretty radical alternative. What if your body doesn't need more restriction, but actually more nourishment to feel safe enough to let go of weight? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of why this happens, because this isn't about you lacking willpower. It's about biology. This is what's known as the restriction trap. And it's all about how your body interprets what you're doing. And this quote from Rachel Braxton is so important because it completely reframes the whole problem. It's not a discipline issue, it's an underfueling issue. And when you're underfueled, it kicks off this vicious cycle that actively works against everything you're trying so hard to achieve. So the scientific term for this whole process is metabolic adaptation. Here's the crucial thing to understand. When your body senses a big drop in calories over time, it doesn't know you're on a diet for summer. It thinks there's a famine. It goes back to this primal survival script, and its only goal is to keep you alive. So it slams on the metabolic brakes to conserve every single calorie it can. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's the theory, but where's the proof? Well, let's talk about the hard evidence. There was a landmark study that followed the contestants from the TV show The Biggest Loser. These were people who lost an incredible amount of weight through really extreme diet and exercise. Researchers wanted to know, what happened to them years later? The results were honestly staggering. 6 years after the show ended, the contestants' metabolisms had not bounced back. Because their bodies had gone through such an extreme rapid weight loss, they were now burning, on average, 500 fewer calories per day than you'd expect for a person their size. All those years later, their bodies were still in that metabolic slowdown, basically fighting to regain the weight. And this creates that classic pattern called weight cycling. You probably know it as yo-yo dieting. And research, like that published in Obesity Reviews, shows this is far from harmless. This constant cycle of losing and regaining weights is linked to some serious health risks, like increased cardiovascular issues and even insulin resistance. In fact, for some people, it can lead to worse long-term health outcomes than just maintaining a stable, even if it's a higher weight. So how does this whole survival mode actually work inside your body? Well, it really helps to think about it in these simple terms. Is your body feeling threatened, or is it feeling safe? And this quote from Braxton just nails it. It's all about safety. When your body gets consistent, adequate fuel, it perceives safety. And only when it feels safe will it run all its systems the way they're supposed to, including burning energy efficiently. When it doesn't get that fuel, it defaults to threat mode. So take a look at this chart. It really lays out the whole cascade of effects. In that threatened, underfueled state, your metabolism slows way down to save energy. At the exact same time, your hormones start working against you. Ghrelin, that's the I'm hungry hormone, it skyrockets, and leptin, the I'm full hormone, just plummets. So you're burning fewer calories while feeling hungrier and less satisfied than ever. It's literally a biological recipe for intense cravings and stalled progress. Okay, so at this point, I bet you're asking yourself, whoa, wait a minute. Is this me? Am I accidentally underfueling my body without even realizing it? It's a great question, and there are actually some really common signs you can look for. And the signs, they go way beyond just what you see on the scale. It can show up as being tired all the time, feeling cold constantly, having brain fog, or dealing with intense sugar cravings. Even things like your sleep getting worse or your hair thinning can be signals. It's your body basically trying to tell you, hey, I'm in conservation mode here, and shutting down functions it doesn't see as essential for immediate survival. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on the problem. Now for the good part, the solution. Let's talk about why strategically eating more can be the key to finally getting your metabolism back on your side. The goal here is really simple. We need to send a consistent signal of safety and abundance to your body. First, eating consistently, not skipping meals, tells your body that food is reliable and available. Second, building balanced meals, especially with enough protein, helps get those appetite hormones back in check. And crucially, it's not just about food. You've also got to manage stress and prioritize sleep. And this is so key. Your metabolism isn't just about what's on your plate. Being chronically stressed spikes cortisol, a hormone that directly tells your body to store fat, especially around the middle. And not getting enough good sleep throws your blood sugar all out of whack and ramps up cravings for junk food. It is all connected. A truly healthy metabolism requires a holistic approach that goes way beyond just the kitchen. So, where does this leave us? What's the big takeaway here? It means shifting your entire mindset from one of dramatic short-term fixes to something much more sustainable, and honestly, a whole lot kinder to yourself. Look, you don't need to throw out everything in your kitchen and start over from scratch. The most powerful changes are usually the small, consistent ones that you can actually stick with. Things like building a better breakfast or adding a short walk after dinner to manage stress. These things compound over time to create real, lasting results. And really, this final thought from Rachel Braxton just perfectly wraps up this whole new way of thinking. Any health journey you're on should feel supportive and like it's building you up, not restrictive and like it's tearing you down. So that's the question I want to leave you with. What would change if you shifted your focus away from restriction and instead just focused on nourishment? What if the goal was simply to fuel your body so that it feels safe, strong, and energized? It's a completely different way of looking at things, and it might just be the game changer you've been looking for.
I stopped trying to find a doctor who would listen, and I did this instead. For years, I was doing everything right. Eating clean, exercising, getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still exhausted, I had constant brain fog, and my hormones felt completely out of whack. Every doctor told me my labs were normal, and it was probably just stress. I was about to give up until I found Holistic Health. It's a free AI wellness tool trained by functional medicine experts. I spent 5 minutes answering questions about everything: my symptoms, my sleep, my digestion, and it built me this. And this was the light bulb moment. It didn't just give me a list of problems, it connected the dots. It showed me how my gut health was likely impacting my hormones and how that was causing the fatigue and the brain fog. It even gave me a clear list of potential root causes, supplements to research, and even the specific lab tests to ask for. Its tip is secure, over 77,000 people have used it, and it's 100% free to get your blueprint. If you feel like you're not being heard, start here. Understand your body first and then decide your next step.